One of the main reasons Johnny Cash came on tour was the success of a song about Ireland many people didn't even know he wrote.
When Johnny came over in '63, he came over on the strength of 40 Shades of Green, which was a huge hit here.
A lot of people wondering how does a country boy from the southern United States write a song called 40 Shades of Green. And I want to tell you, I did write the song, and the way you do it is you steal it. And actually, I was in Ireland 3 years ago for about 10 days, and I came over, and nobody would know me, as usual. And we rented a car and drove across the country and fell in love with it. And I'm not going to tell you my grandmother was Irish, although she was. But that's what my mother said. You know how mothers are. They don't lie. They tell you the truth. Isn't that right?
For years, he used to claim Irish heritage. He always said he was part Cherokee, part Irish. But he later discovered he was actually from the Kingdom of Fife in Scotland.
As you can hear yourself on the recordings, you'd know him a mile away, wouldn't you? And I loved that he was so natural, no airs and graces about him. He was just like a big softy. And it's great the way he sings. I close my eyes.
I close my eyes. The emerald of the sea, from the fishing boats at Dingle to the shores of Dundee, I miss the River Shannon and the...
It was great to have an American star singing something about Ireland,
The moorlands and the meadows with their 40 shades of green.
Well, see, 40 Shades of Green summed up that whole belief that we assigned to America about Ireland, that there was a great longing of all Americans to come to Ireland and love Ireland.
I miss her lips as soft as eider.
There was only about 4 of them on the stage, wasn't there?
Again, I want to see and
it was real raw.
the things we've done and seen, where the breeze is sweet as Shalimar.
Although he doesn't sound it on the recording, Johnny Cash had a tough year in '63. He needed a hit record, and Paul McCann says his use of amphetamines was taking its toll.
He wasn't recording great material at the time. Unfortunately, his voice wasn't in great condition because of the amount of amphetamines and whatever else he was taking. There was an awful lot of dates being cancelled and an awful lot of kind of bad shows happening at that time. Again, he done gigs like Carnegie Hall, where he arrived on stage with no voice, and that was a number of months before the Irish tour.
In the recording, Johnny gives running updates on the tour and the state of his health.
We went to, last night we were in Mallow. We were staying in another town. Where were we staying last night? Where were we supposed to stay last night? Limerick. And the doctor told June Carter and I that we shouldn't sing tonight, that if we sang tonight, he wouldn't be responsible. So, therefore, I said, we don't ever sing, doctor. He said, I won't be responsible and you'll probably lose your voice. And I said, well, I'm going to have it pulled anyway, so I'll go ahead and sing. Just to give you an idea how we feel, I feel like a buzzard myself.
He used to suffer from laryngitis a lot, so his throat was always running dry.
Could I have a drink of water before we go any further? I'm choking to death. Just water. I just want some water is all I want. Nothing else, just water. Got any water? No. Thank you. Is that water, Luther? Just water? Just water. There's a story in our town of the prettiest girl around. Golden hair and eyes of blue, how those eyes could flash at you. Boys hung round her by the score, but she loved the boy next door who worked at the candy store. He would marry her next spring, save his money, bought a ring. And one day a movie scout came to town to take her out. Hollywood cut off.
The tour would represent a big change in Johnny Cash's life. But as it wore on, Eileen Reid says his health was suffering, but not his appetite.
That was the night in God. We all got up the next day. You know, we wouldn't get up until about 11 o'clock. And Johnny came down. He was the worst of the way because he was dying with the flu. Really dying. And I'm not surprised because when you opened their bedrooms, I remember when we went up to June Carter's, when she opened the door, it was like opening an oven. I'm not, it just sort of took you back. They thought it was very cold here, you know. He said, could I have... she thought he was going to have sausage. He wanted a steak, big steak and potatoes and everything like that. And the little one said, I'm sorry, we don't, you'd have to wait for the lunch, you know, we don't do that and it's not ready yet. And he said, no, I want it now, you know, that's what I want now. So she had to go off and they had to do it for him, you know.
We'd like to get Marshall to sing a song a little later on in the show. He's got a real good voice. He's like me, he tears it up getting it out, but he's got a very good voice. He's going to sing an Arabian song, one called Oh What a Bag Dad Had.
The Cadets' final date with Johnny was the second last night of the tour on the South Circular Road in Dublin.
The biggie, of course, was the last one, which was in the stadium. And that was great, that was packed.
Well, the stadium you kind of got to see.
In the audience, for the second time, was Billy Lee.
It wasn't expensive. It was, I don't know, 2 shillings in or whatever it was. You pay €100 now to go to a concert in Dublin.
And in the soundbox, recording all of this, was Enda Shorthall. It was a full house.
Packed. Oh, packed. Yeah. Certainly was. Once we got 1, 2, 3, 4 on each mic, we were pleased.
We probably would have only done a baby 45 minutes. We would have done anything from the charts. It could have been the Beatles, Stones. I would have been doing Kitty Wells, Patsy Cline.
I don't remember him just coming from, because we were kind of just saying, look, is that okay? Is this okay? The next thing, he was there.
Country and Western singer in the United States, Mr. Johnny Cash.
Oh, here we go. And this is from the stadium. Quality's pretty good, yeah.
Now I taught the weeping willow how to cry, and I showed the clouds how to cover up a clear blue sky. And the tears I cried for that woman are gonna flood you, big river, and I'm gonna sit right here until I die.
It was in the round. The stage was in the centre.
The boxing ring.
There was no ropes or anything there.
He had his back to a lot of the people.
And for the third of the show, you only saw his back. You had to keep turning around.
Well, I met her accidentally in St. Paul, Minnesota, and it tore me up every time I heard her drawl, southern drawl. Then I heard my dream went back downstream to Borton and Davenport, and I followed you, big river, when you called.
On the recording, Johnny Cash and the Tennessee Three perform a string of great songs before Johnny introduces his special guest,